Jesus continues to teach us, to talk to us as disciples about remaining in him, remaining in his love as he remains in us. And his love, he keeps keeping his love within us, just as the image is the way he loves the Father and remains in the Father's love by keeping his Father's commandments. So he urges us to keep his commandments so we remain in him and remain in his love. And it's basically, can summarize it by saying, keep this way of life that I'm teaching you, and you'll remain in a good relationship with me. And if we do this, Jesus kind of gives us the point of being able to do this. The whole point of keeping his commandments is to stay in his love, and by staying in his love, his joy is within us. And then our joy finally becomes complete. Without Jesus' joy inside of us, there will always be something lacking inside of us. We talk about it in different ways. We were made for God. There's a God-shaped hole inside each and every one of us that only God can fill. And when we look, we can look for other things to try to fill that void. But only God's life, God's joy, Jesus tells us today, can fill that void and make our joy in life complete. We've all been there, huh? We've tried it. We've looked at different ways of filling that hole, filling that void. We've looked at different things to try to make us happy, to try to make us have some sense of joy in life, and been disappointed. Come up short-handed, left more empty than when we started. Then when we turn back to God and say, okay, Lord, my way is not working. Let's try your way. And then we can see there's this deeper sense, this deeply spiritual sense of joy that begins to fill us and make our life feel more complete. And then we get tempted again because there's something over here that starts to look pleasurable or will make us happy in the moment, but then it pulls us away from our true joy, the true lasting joy that will last for all eternity. Usually, because this relationship with God and living out the commands of God, or the way of life that leads us to eternal life, is a growing process. We're doing good for a moment, and then the Lord kind of opens our mind, our hearts, our eyes to see, oh, I have to surrender this part of my life to you too. And then we kind of start the process over again of this wrestling of slowly learning, okay, I'll trust you, I'll let go of this, of what I want, of what I think is right and true, and I'll live your way of life here in this situation. And we go back and forth. Usually I notice when my joy is leaving me, it's because I'm being a spiritual brat. It's because I want it my way. I'm not getting what I want, Kids are good at showing us this, huh? My little nephew is 4 years old right now, and he is really going through this phase. And if he does not get his way and that fast, he just throws a temper tantrum, And we do this with God a lot, I do it all the time. I'm like, that's not what I want, Or I say, okay, I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it. And I let you know I'm not happy about it, right? We kind of do this too. I'll do it, but I'm going to, I'm a little attitude. And our kids can do this too with us, huh? They'll kind of do it, but they'll stomp their feet or drag their feet along the way. And I find when I do this with God, that's when my joy dissipates or slowly goes away. And then I just have to sit in the mirror one day and look and say, I'm just not happy anymore. This is not joyful. What happened? Oh, it's because I'm resisting God in this area of my life. And I have to surrender my will or yield my will to him with trust. Because my way is not working. So I have to trust. He must have a better way for me. A better plan. He must really know better than me. You think after, years that we'd get it, but no. I still go back. Most of us probably still go back, and we have our little temper tantrum, and we're just not getting it. It's not turning out the way I want it to turn out right now. And then we begin to resist God or not trust him with something, and then there goes the joy, And then here comes our attitude or the snappiness or whatever. That's what it is for me at least, And so what's the answer? We have to come back. Jesus, I will trust you. It's not that I will just do this, and drag my feet along the way, but I will do it with a trust, because my way is not working out. And I'll trust that you really do know better. Your way is better. And as we walk in that trustful surrender in his way of life, we do notice this deeper joy comes back and begins to fill us, and we feel more complete. We don't always doesn't mean you have all the answers, but you have a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment, completion with Jesus' joy, walking in that trustful surrender to God's providential care in our life.